Welcome back to another Horological Happy Hour, everybody. I'm Justin.
I'm Rob.
Ooh, Rob's got a little frog in his throat this week. He's feeling a little emotional
over
there.
It like doesn't work.
Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. We're super excited to be back. I don't know why, but it feels like it's been a minute since we've been here.
It does.
It's been a long 2 weeks. It's been a long 2 weeks.
Must have been the holiday weekend.
Right.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Just, as usual, we pulled a bunch of really incredible new arrivals off of our out of our safes. Some of the stuff available on our site now. Some of it is a true sneak peek, so definitely check that out. We're gonna go ahead and recap a little bit of the Swatch Royal Pop aftermath. Some of the WWE Smackdowns that happened outside of Swatch boutiques.
It was insane. I thought some of those posts were jokes.
I know, so did I.
And I was really surprised. So I did not expect that.
And then at the end of the show, we're gonna spend a little time chatting about 70s design and how it kind of seems like every brand is kind of reviving different, heritage designs from their catalogs that were big in the 70s. So stick around.
Right,
should be a pretty good show. But as always, we're going to go ahead and start it off with a little beverage.
Yes.
We're going to go with some Balvenie this week. So I think it's my turn to pour, Rob.
Oh, is it?
I believe it is. That's why I have the.
I see. I will give you that then.
All right. Hopefully you guys are also joining us on this lovely Thursday. There you go.
That is a healthy
You know what? I feel like you need it, pal. It's been a long week. It's been a long, short week already. And
that's true. I forgot.
Did I? Is that even?
It's even enough.
I want to make sure I didn't give you more than I got. Jesus. Anyways, thanks. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. I want to just, you know what? Hey, because I always get crap, I'm going to check the comments real quick, Robert.
That's like one of the few things I actually don't give you a hard time about.
You don't anymore. But a couple other people and someone in the comments already has asked us to do a wrist check at the beginning of each show. I think that's super smart. Rob and I are very boring, and we tend to wear the same things all the time. But maybe we'll have to start switching it up a little bit. So, Rob, why don't you go first? Are you not wearing anything right now?
My watch is upstairs.
Oh
my watch is upstairs at my desk. Because part of my formal responsibilities on this show are to take the watches and show them on the wrist. So for me to wear a watch doesn't make any sense.
You can always
generally
take it off.
don't. But I'll start, and I'll set it to the side when we get things going. No problem.
So you're going to tell people what you're wearing today or not?
I was wearing my, it's a 90s AP called the Huitième. I cannot remember the reference number, but it is a steel, kind of Calatrava style watch with a silver dial and blued hands.
It is super cool.
I like very much.
Never seen one before. We're going to talk about a watch that, Rob doesn't have to show. We can't, it's very cool, but we can't show it to you. So I'll make sure that Vanna White over here wears his watch next time.
I'm drinking, forget the cheers.
I'm wearing Datograph. Loving it still. It hasn't really left my wrist. No problems with size and comfort. So that's a great ad.
39 mil dado.
39 mil dado, yeah.
Which is important, not the up down, because that does get
too
bigger.
big. That's way too big. But all right. Oh. I don't know. What am I doing here? There we go.
There it is.
Look at that. It looks good on my wrist. Damn.
I love the way on these, because the dials are also German silver, those sub-dials patina.
Yes.
And it's not like a bright silver. They get that nice yellow-brown warmth to them.
Yep.
And it really makes that watch.
It's wild because it's not necessarily all that old of a watch, but it's starting to feel more and more almost vintage, with that kind of warmer tone and great.
And that's the
I love
original strap.
It is.
With that contrast stitch.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Look at
that. Anyways, there we go. That's enough about us. Let's dive into some of the killer interesting things that we have on the table this week. So
this might be the best variety we've ever had.
This is weird
on this
stuff
tray.
In a good way. And
this is one kind of niche market watch after the next.
Totally.
None of these are your common savoir-faire.
No. I don't think that's what you were going for, but that's okay.
Is it not?
No. I love that you're still trying to speak French over here. We're going to get so much crap. Oh, my God. All right. Enough. Diving in. The first weird watch, awesome watch that we have on our tray this week is the Patek 5099 RG. This is a Gondolo cabriolet.
This is going to be impossible to show, so I'm going to
Totally.
apologize in the beginning because all you're going to get is reflections. But here's the deal. This is rose gold and white gold.
Yes.
And the white gold is in these two lines that run
Stripes.
down from the lugs straight down the sides of the case, and then the rest of it is rose. I'm trying to find an angle where you can see that, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So as you can see, you cannot see the dial. The watch is completely covered, and you hit the buttons on the bottom, and there it is.
Boing.
This, to me, everybody who watches this show knows that anything that doesn't take itself too seriously is like way in my wheelhouse. And shaped watches are way in my wheelhouse. I love the gondolas. I wish Patek would bring them back. This is one of the quirkiest, most interesting, wildest watches they've ever made. And this was never made in any other metals.
Right.
There's not like any different
There's
other
not like
kinds of combinations.
a platinum one or,
right.
you know, yeah.
There's no yellow gold. There's nothing. Like, this is it. They made this one version. It's, to me, it's just so cool because people are going to be like, is that a watch?
Well, so
what are you wearing?
When
and then you'll be like, it is a watch.
when we were putting together our list, I was like, we both desperately, you know, knew we wanted to talk about this just because it's so weird from Patek. And I thought it was so funny because last week we obviously played the game of defending the worst watch from our favorite brands, and you had to talk about the PAM 76, which is essentially Panerized version of this watch, which I think is hilarious with the cover.
Oh, they're not even close
and we
to
both
the same
well, that's
thing.
the thing. But we shat all over that, obviously. But this is just so. It's funny because this is the same concept, a different execution, obviously, from Patek.
And many brands have done this.
Yes.
This is not unique to Patek. This is not unique to Panerai.
No.
Many brands have done these kind of covered watches, sometimes with a purpose, sometimes without. This one, I like it because this feels like not purpose. This feels like interesting for the sake of being interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's like a very deco case.
Yeah.
We were discussing before we went live. Obviously, like I do my research beforehand, and we pride ourselves on knowing a good deal about most of the watches we talk about. But I wasn't able to find, and I didn't, maybe I just didn't dig deep enough, but I wasn't able to find like what the inspiration for this was. If this does, reference, an earlier model from say the 20s, the real, a real Art Deco kind of period piece or whatever. But it's just got so much vibe. It's the right size. Like, I'm not the biggest Gondolo fan. I know you love them. For me, it just, I don't know what it is. It never really spoke to me all that much. But this is like in this square case, and with all these funky angles, the texture on the dial when you pop that cover open, the two-tone, like a Patek two-tone in and of itself is incredibly rare. Like that doesn't happen. But then you have that kind of like peachy, salmony, textured, almost like sandblasted dial underneath with those like really stark, charcoal black Breguet numerals. Like, it's just so weird and it's so interesting. And like, it's just like, the other part that I love about this too is that this is a super, like, this is a very affordable piece when it comes to Patek. Obviously, it's just it's a time only. It's a very simple three-hander, but
I love the way the buckle as well. Sorry to cut you off, but I was just like, the buckle
it
has
reflects
the
the
same
shape.
Like square, very squared off, very angular, faceted. Like they made this just for this watch. This is not found on anything else, which is also so incredibly cool. A straight strap, which is wild. Like this, all of this stuff that Patek did for this watch is completely bespoke.
Yes. And that's the crazy thing here is that it was released in the early 2000s. It was produced for not all that long. There were, like you said, there are no other variants of this watch. There's like, it's crazy that they did all of this R&D, all of this development on this one thing that they made for a short period of time, and that was it. And I love it.
In one iteration.
Exactly.
I love it.
And it's weird and funky, and like it's not going to be a strong seller. But again, these are really cool.
But it is. This watch, one day at auction, this watch is going to be expensive.
Right. And now,
it's going to be like, whoa, I've never seen one of those before, and it's going to, I
think this is the second time that we've had this reference.
Yep.
And
at least in like the 10 years that you and I have been here.
Yeah. And it's, even now, like it's like a, low 20s kind of watch generally. So tons of bang for buck, very interesting Patek. not something you see every day, and just like fun and weird.
Yes, tremendously cool.
Would you like to move on? You apparently you have a lot to say about this next one.
The move on is interesting. So next up, we have an FP Journe Octa Sport from the original run.
Yes.
Which is in aluminum.
Right.
Or, should I say, aluminium.
Don't you dare say that. you are American.
They do
buddy.
add that extra vowel.
I know, and actually I noticed in our description that somebody did put, when I was looking in our database for this watch, I typed in aluminum because what other watches are made of aluminum, and, and nothing came up. I was like, what the hell? And they haven't typed in aluminium, which really actually bothered me.
So this is the sport watch equivalent of the Journe brass movement. Journe wanted to set out to make the absolute lightest watch he could, and so he made a case out of aluminum, and I believe the movement is aluminum
so the case, the dial actually, and the movement is all made out of aluminum. This was introduced in 2011. The centograph on the bracelet, the Mac Daddy of the aluminum, Journes came first, and then this followed soon after.
It is disconcertingly light.
Okay, so I want to play a little game with you here, Rob. So do you know how much this piece weighs on the strap?
Oh man, I mean it's grams.
Oh yeah.
It's and I can't think in grams because that's such a small thing. But like, I don't know, 10 grams.
Okay, so it's 52 grams,
okay.
and I wanted to I made a little list of what is equivalent to 52 grams.
That's helpful. That's what I need.
I want to speak your language here, Rob.
Yes.
So I want to tell you. Okay.
Couple notches down.
Okay, ready? 52 grams is essentially 10 nickels, 3 or 4 CDs, not in the case, just the CD itself. It's lighter than a tennis ball. It's about the weight of about half a stick of butter. I thought that'd be helpful for you. 50 paper clips, Rob, or 10.
50 paper clips is the worst one.
10 to about 15 marshmallows. I was trying to come up with the most ridiculous comparison weights possible, but anyways, 52 grams. Like to be honest, 52 grams is actually lighter than like many straps that we put on watches.
Right.
For real. Like the strap
and
alone.
I bet you that the strap is half of the weight.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because the rubber's going to weigh more than this watch. There is nothing here. And what I have to say is when you put this watch on, and this actually, it fits me perfectly. It's sized beautifully. You wouldn't even know you're wearing this.
Yeah.
It is supremely comfortable. The fact that he did the crown here at 4 o'clock, 4:30 is nice. It's very flush to the case. It is a tremendously comfortable watch. I'll give him credit that it is an interesting design and that it is very Journe.
Yeah, of
like
course
you
it
look
is.
at this and you're like, that is
The
a
Octa
Journe.
Sport is.
It's not like some of these companies where they make a sport watch and it feels like it's from a different brand.
Yeah, I
he has
understand
good
that.
continuity here. But I don't know, I was never drawn to this watch. I never got it because it's like, it's way sportier than any regular Journe, but it's not something where I would use this as a sport watch. So I guess it's like your gentleman's driver
obviously
kind of thing.
not now. The whole idea with this was, the Octa Sport and the line sport line was to be Journe's sport watch. It was it was designed to be used when you were doing sporting activities,
Which for him is like driving your F1 car or something, right? Because didn't they put that, isn't there like
There's an Indy 500 version.
Indy 500, there's a race car driver thing in there, I knew that. So
the thing is that when this was made, when this came out in 2011, this was really kind of on the early side of brands trying to really go for extreme lightweight. RM was doing it.
I was about to ask, when did they start really leaning into that?
It was about the same time. They were a little bit earlier, but
Journe was earlier.
No. RM was a little bit earlier. They were using carbon in their base plates and all kinds of stuff earlier. But for first of all, for independence, second of all, for real high horology, this is really like kind of the first one. And the interesting thing is, instead of using titanium or ceramic or going kind of like the tried and true route, Journe decided to go completely a different direction, as they always do, and go aluminum. And like it's very Journe because aluminum is not. There's a reason why manufacturers had not used aluminum previously. It's very susceptible to corrosion. It's very prone to scratching. It's like Journe had to come up with all of these proprietary processes and like ways of treating the aluminum to make it suitable for, first of all, you know, the wear and tear of a sport watch, but second of all, Journe holds his movements to like very high chronometric standards, and in order to, you know, have the material science be at that level that it could deliver the results that he required, there was a lot that needed to go into it. So it's really wild that they made this watch for like 4 years, and then they moved away from the material.
And then came the titanium versions of this, which is what he still does now because he continues to make Octa Sport watches, and they are now titanium.
Exactly.
With titanium bracelets or rubber straps.
Exactly. But like, you know, the rotor is a tungsten aluminum alloy, like very interesting, you know.
It's probably the heaviest part of the watch because tungsten is very heavy. Dense.
Right, very dense.
So that's probably the heaviest component in this whole watch. So it's wild.
It's like, I really think it's like a perfect snapshot kind of Journe and their, you know, his approach to watchmaking, his approach just in general to creating something. It's so different, it's so out there, it's like, why? There's no reason to do that, you know, like it was so expensive, it was so difficult.
In your extensive research, did you come upon the original MSRP?
No.
Because I'm very curious what the price difference was between this and like say an RM at the time, and especially the ultralight RMs, because that technology has always kept those very expensive.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure this was way more accessible.
Definitely.
Oh, right? I would almost bet money on the fact that this Journe was probably a much lower price back than the RMs, even back in 2011 before things got crazy.
I definitely think.
But yeah, it's a really interesting watch. It's a very cool piece of history. I think if you're an early Journe collector, and you have a brass movement, whether it's an RDM or a turb or a resonance or something, and you want that companion piece for it, I think something like this is really stellar. I don't think the values of this, we're never going to see these at 30K again. Like never, ever,
This is available on our site right now. It's full set. It's like, you know, it's as it left the factory, totally
This one is
complete.
very clean. The other thing about these,
$219,000. Well, that's the thing, is there's a reason why Journe moved away from using aluminum beyond just like having the experiment and having it run its course. Like we've seen ones, I remember years ago seeing ones that had been worn, had seen heavy,
and they show that wear.
And they show the wear because
this is minty.
It's beautiful.
I was just looking at the condition while that B-roll was playing, and this is really in exceptional condition. This watch has been well cared for. This is that collector's piece where you have this to show what Journe has done and where he's been on his journey, because he's never making these again.
No,
not
definitely
in aluminum.
not.
No.
I think like you said,
in that respect,
if you're a Journe collector, you collect brass movement Journes, this is like the logical, and you want a sport piece, this is the logical move to make. So available on our site for $219, super interesting, really kind of excited that we were able to have that, and that I was able to tell you how many marshmallows it was equivalent to.
There's no way that 10 to 15 marshmallows is 52 grams, by the way. I really don't believe that, because marshmallows weigh nothing. I would think that's at least 30 marshmallows.
Are you questioning my math skills, Mr. Music Major?
I'm questioning your AI skills.
Mr. Music Major?
Your AI skills.
I went out and I was putting one marshmallow after the other onto the scale, onto our jeweler's scale. All right, maybe that'll be
Justin with the tweezers.
That's for exactly. That's for another stream apparently. Me measuring marshmallow weights. Okay, so from one kind of avant-garde, super kind of material-forward brand to another now. This is the Richard Mille RM007. And I swooned when this came in. For years now, I have been a big fan of RM's ladies' pieces like this, specifically the 007.
I think it's really funny that this is marked marketed as a ladies' piece because I'm just over 7-inch wrist, and I sit here wearing this.
It's perfect.
And it's not too small.
It's perfect.
This does not look like a lady's watch, in my opinion. And I know that Mr. Enthusiast has been wearing one of these recently.
Just
and has
recently
been posting
picked one
a lot
up, yeah,
about
Phil.
it. And it looks great on him as well.
Totally.
They should just market this as a mid-size. And this one, some of them do get very feminine with the materials.
Some
and
do.
The diamond
This
treatment,
really
but-
kind of like walks the line. It's funny because like we've had a few now, and the last one we had was just like the skeleton black, you know, nothing, you know, carbon accents and things, but like, and on a, I think it was on a red strap or a black strap.
Right.
This did come in on a pink strap, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a white gold case. You have, you know, skeleton-ish dial. You see. You got diamond indices, and then you have this like mother of pearl kind of like U shape, you know, in the center there. But it does not read as overly feminine to me.
And the center's onyx.
Center's onyx, exactly.
Right. So you have mother of pearl, you have onyx, white gold case, I believe.
White gold case. Yep.
Right. It's heavy. Yeah. And the crown. Look at that pointy crown.
Yeah, it's
It
like a
is
big.
so cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And you know, so we'll have to show, I think, in some of the photos, and then you'll have to get it in the close-up too. There, okay, in the movement. So it's you know, RM obviously always known for, you know, their material science, you know, what they're doing with their movements and whatnot, and especially for again, more like action-focused pursuits and whatnot. So this is the CRMA2 movement, and it features this like crazy micro ball rotor, and there's this like weird like pocket in the gold rotor that's filled with like 100+ solid gold. They call them micro balls.
They're so tiny.
And so I went to RM's website and I was reading their like missive about what this actually does, and all I could understand, because I'm not very bright, was that it aids in shock absorption. But like, what? I don't understand how having, you know, 100+ tiny golden balls in your micro rotor or your rotor
reflections, but it's not possible. It is very cool. It's basically like a teeny tiny hourglass here inside, and I guess what it does is if this were to take a shock, and I am theorizing here, if this were to take a shock, all of those little micro beads would be the ones that would kind of fly from side to side, and it would keep the rotor from kind of whipping around as fast as if it was a solid mass. Maybe.
I guess.
There's probably like some element of like fluid dynamics in there with that, because that's going to function in that kind of way.
All of their, or most of their, you know, their rotors, you know, are adjustable, so you can have it, you know, tweaked to your like lifestyle. Essentially, I think they have like 3 or 4 different settings on them, you know, where they are more reactive or less reactive to inputs, you know, to movement inputs and whatnot.
This one is quite stiff. As I'm playing with it and kind of moving it around in my hands, I think it's bi-directional.
It is bi-directional,
there's no like freewheeling one way or the other,
right.
which I think is also helpful, because like Journe has the freewheel, and if you catch it just right, that thing will zoom around. This one's not going to do that no matter what.
Right.
And it feels like it's got quite a tight like tolerance there in terms of the spinning. It doesn't.
Well, so that's another feature of this movement, like specifically actually, that each rotation is, I want to say, like they claim that it gets like 30% more power into the mainspring than a standard, you know,
and I
regular
believe
rotor
it, because
would.
when these guys come out with the tech and they come out with these statements about the movements and things like that, I think, you know, they really stand behind it.
Totally.
I think there is a lot of proof in the pudding with all of the watches that come out of Richard Mille. I love the fact, I just noticed that they're diamonds.
Yeah, on the
hour
indices,
markers,
yeah.
they are like, once again, teeny, tiny, but perfect little diamonds. And that crown just kills me, because like the watch is so symmetrical, so like everything in its place, and then there's just this like pointy, crazy crown on the side of it. Like,
and obviously, like, you know,
it's such cool design.
RM makes a whole bunch of different variations of this. Now, you know, whatever it was, a year or 2 ago, came out with all of those kind of like candy colored ones and different ceramics and whatnot. But I really love this, you know, this one and the simpler ones, because I think you get all of like the, it's tough to call anything about a Richard Mille classic, but all like the classic design elements of Richard Mille into this like super wearable, super compact package that, in my opinion, like besides maybe the 67, you know, the ultra slim, the ultra thins, these are by far the best wearing RMs, and they're actually a little bit under the radar. So I'm a big fan. That's coming soon.
Don't be scared of smaller watches. You can wear that.
No, and like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it doesn't matter what size wrist you have. That would look killer. So,
okay, my favorite watch on the actually, between the Cabriolet and this, it's really hard.
Interesting.
One of these two is my favorite watch on the table. This, I think, Justin and I have both long been champions of Breguet.
Yeah.
We have thought that the brand deserves way more credit and respect than it currently gets.
Way more.
And this, to me, was like Breguet coming back into the limelight and saying, we can do the same kind of things that our namesake did and do them just as well and execute them just as well. And like, I really hope that this is the turning point for Breguet that I feel like it is. This is the Souscription watch. This is based off of a pocket watch that Breguet himself made back in the dark ages, where he was sitting there doing by candlelight with all hand tools.
Well, do you want me to give you a little bit more detail on that?
No.
Do you want to spin a yarn, or do you want me to actually tell you what the
all right,
so
research.
Very
Go
quickly.
ahead.
No, I love history and I love backstory, and I think it's very interesting. Before I get into that real quick, I really think it's so impressive that, so this is part of Breguet's 250th anniversary collection that came out last year. I think it's really interesting that they chose to make this piece a very seemingly simple piece, as opposed to one of the more elaborate, you know, if they're going to pay tribute to something from the early days.
Like, why didn't they make a Marie Antoinette that you can wear on your wrist?
Correct. But so...
Because this.
So this specifically...
because that.
So the design draws inspiration from a single-hander pocket watch that Abraham Louis Breguet designed and began to produce back in 1795, which is bonkers to me. But that original piece was made on, you know, the classic Souscription model, where a buyer, you know, in this particular case, would pay Breguet 25% of the cost of the watch, and which would allow, you know, Abraham to produce these pieces without having, you know, to realize some cash flow before delivering any pieces. And this was at a time when, like, the Breguet operation had been disrupted by the French Revolution. Like, I think I love this so much because, like, this is a watch show, and we're talking about how a watch that was made last year draws inspiration from a piece that was affected by the French Revolution.
Over 200 years ago.
So, you know, Abraham Louis Breguet had to flee France, moved to Switzerland, he went back to Paris, and the original pocket watch was one of the first designs, one of the first pieces that he actually made to kind of restart the brand. So it's very fitting that for the 250th anniversary, Breguet went ahead and released this.
That is poetic. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the single hand thing to me is zen.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. You don't need a seconds hand.
No.
You don't need even getting rid of the minute hand. Like, this to me is so stellar. And then it's enamel dial.
Yep.
Right.
Grand Few enamel dial.
Those beautiful painted Breguets. And then the movement is, like, to me, you know, everybody looks at the stuff that, like, Ricci is doing and his brother Jevdet and all that stuff. And it's like, it is very cool. And even the Grubel handmade and stuff like that, to me,
I love this, though.
This is such a great way to get into something like that and to get, it's not on the same level. I don't want to make a comparison there and say that, like, oh, it's just like a DeForce Simplicity.
Of course
I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that, like, this is how you make an incredibly beautiful, well-designed, like, movement architecture that makes a very, like you said, simple watch not so simple anymore.
Right.
I love the case. I love the fact that it's not in your standard, like, round with the soldered-on Breguet gloves. They didn't do the coin edge here. They didn't try to make this fit a modern Breguet. They made this almost like, if the lugs were gone, this would be like the pocket watch.
So you actually do like that, then? You
Love it.
Okay, interesting. I mean, it's...
And I know you're going to say it's too big.
It is.
And you're wrong, because look, Where's the extra space,
I know.
Justin?
Yeah.
Do tell. Where are the extra spaces on the back of that watch?
Rob, this is a bespoke
nothing...
movement that they made for this watch. They could have made it smaller if they really wanted to. Yes, they could have.
They couldn't.
Rob, they're a 250-year-old manufacturer. They could have figured it out if they really wanted to.
Yeah, but it wouldn't look like this.
I really do love this piece. When I first saw it, last year when they kind of released earlier in the year the pieces from their collection that were coming to celebrate the anniversary, I was so excited about this, and I still am. I still really, really love this watch. Yeah. I was a little bit let down by, I think, what you're saying you appreciate, and like this just personally, I want to see that coin edge. I do want to see those lugs that are those classic straight Breguet lugs, like the I don't know, it's a little bit too
watch, though.
It is.
It's not a modern Breguet.
But I think they could have melded those, the heritage and the modern piece a little bit better, and instead of kind of this like muddle,
and yet they make it a
muddled.
Modern size, and you're like, pshaw.
Yeah, but modern size sucks. Come on, it's too big. Come on, buddy. Anyways, no, it's perfect. It's a stellar watch. Perfect. I love that it has, in that enamel dial, you still get the that classic secret signature. So it says Breguet, and then it has the serial number, and it says Souscription.
It looks really rich too. Like
it does.
Enamel versus even, this kind of baked dial. There's a texture and a subtlety to it where I can't even show you on this. You
get like all these little ripples.
You have to see this in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer watch. This is available right now on our website. That's $89.5. Stellar piece.
How many did they make?
It's not technically limited, but it's one of those pieces. So other pieces in the 250th anniversary collection are limited. This one's not, but it's one of those that they're not going to make a ton of.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not going to be something you walk into your AD and you just pick one up.
No.
It's not going to be that kind of watch. So.
No. So we were very excited to see that.
Yeah.
All right. Last, but certainly not least.
The big guns.
Yeah, the Mac Daddy of this tray.
This is not a mortal watch.
No.
This, and I think...
This is possibly one of the, beyond piece uniques, for regular production Patek, full stop, this might be the rarest piece that we've ever shown on this show. This is a reference 5020 in platinum with a black dial with diamond indices.
Yeah.
This is such a monster of a Patek Grand Comp that you just never see. It's so rare.
So this is basically a 3970.
Yes.
Like in terms of what's inside here and the dial layout, we have a perpetual calendar chronograph. But that is where the similarities end. Because this case shape is probably one of the rarest non-round cases from Patek.
It is.
This TV-shaped case is in this watch. It's in that split-second monopusher chronograph thing.
Yep.
The
I don't remember the reference now, but
59
or
no,
not 5059.
5950. I think.
Let's speculate wildly.
5950. This is in. There's a repeater.
Yep.
There's a lovely repeater with this shape case, and then there's a perpetual that I think we showed a week or two ago, the 5940.
Yep.
We had that on the show.
That's different
recently.
though. That's slightly different.
It is slightly different, but it's the only other watch that comes in this case. There's no standard gondolo in this case.
Nope.
There's no standard chronograph or anything like that. There's no annual in this case. This case has always been reserved for really exceptional special pieces. Then to get it with a black dial with the diamond markers like this, this doesn't exist.
So this was introduced in 1995, which is kind of like smack dab in the middle of the 3970. I guess it's a little towards the beginning of the 3970 production, and it was only made for 8 years, so it only lasted until 2002.
Like 5020 in general.
5020 in general, 1995 to 2002.
Wow. The
3970 was much more popular. This just, for whatever reason, it did not resonate with buyers and with collectors. And it's estimated that fewer than 300 total were produced across all metals, across all dial variants.
That is a genuinely rare watch.
As opposed to more than 3,600 3970s over the course of its 18-year lifespan.
So there's 10 times as many.
10 times as many. But where it gets really, really interesting is that platinum, roughly 20, I believe. Let me find my, I think it was around 20 in platinum, but there are only 6 known examples in platinum with a black diamond dial. Man. 6 total. Like, it's such a unicorn, you know, this particular configuration. It's by far the rarest modern Patek Grand Comp, or perpetual chrono.
Right.
And it's really more on par with like the 1518, you know.
Wow.
In terms of rarity.
Yeah. That is wild to think about that.
Interesting. So the platinum only came with that solid case back, versus, you know, the gold models, which came with both the exhibition and
like
the
a platinum 3940.
Correct. I thought that was super interesting. And like, so this is in stock. This is available right now for $450,000, which is obviously a boatload of money. But when you compare it to what a rare, you know, 3970 would say, like we have that 3970.
So we just listed a 3970 rose gold 5004 dial, which is a fantastic watch.
For more than twice the price.
That's $975
Correct.
or something like that. Which would you rather own?
I would rather have the 5020. I love 3970s and I love interesting, unique 3970s, but this, it's, again, like that TVK shape is so special and so unique, and it's so singular, kind of like in watches, period.
I agree with you, man. Like, at the point where you're like, okay, this is a different kind of watch purchase, right? You're not buying this because you're gonna wear it as a daily, right? This is not a daily driver. If it is, I salute you.
I was gonna say, I want to be friends.
Because you are, you know, you're braver than I am.
Yeah.
But this to me is like a special piece. This is, you reserve this for special occasions. You reserve this for collector meetups or when you're going to an auction or something like that. Like, this is when you need to put up or shut up. And to own something like this and have that, not only a piece with that kind of power and magnitude, but something that's this collectible, that's this rare, that is a part of Patek history that probably is not coming back.
Right.
Because you look at the direction that company's coming in, they are never making this again.
Well, and if they do, it's not going to be in these dimensions. It's going to be,
they'll never make it again.
It's going to be, you know, 1.5 size or whatever.
They'll never make it again.
It's so, again, like to have a piece that is this rare at this price point, like it's really special. And I think as we see 3970s continue to increase in value, as we see, you know, collector interest continue to explode, especially for interesting, rare, special ones, I think these are going to be very close behind because, again, it's so rare, you never see them, and it's just special. It really is.
People shy away from shapes, and I don't know why.
I know.
Everything is round. It's easy to wear round.
Yeah.
Like, look at these other things. This wears beautifully.
This is kind of, I was going to say,
this wears beautifully. They all sit on the wrist perfectly.
This is something of a sweet spot of size, I think, too. Yeah. Like, obviously, the 3970 is great. It wears beautifully, but this is, what, 37 by 45 millimeters, but on the wrist, it really sits beautifully, and it's really, really...
The presence is perfect because it does have some height to it. It's got a great shape to the bezel. Masterpiece.
Cool.
A masterpiece.
Like I said, available on the site. Go ahead, check that out. Full set, too. Like, everything has an extract, has original papers, has an extract confirming everything. This is one that we're not going to see again anytime soon. So definitely go ahead and check it out.
No, you'll never see that again.
Yeah. All right. That's just like a tiny little taste of you know, the new arrivals that we have on the site. There's like dozens more that we had to like weed through to pick out these 5 pieces. So be sure to go ahead and check out what we have, what we've added. We're constantly adding more. So always make sure that you're checking out on a daily, hourly, you know, minute by minute basis what we have over there. But we got to move on.
Yep. So I guess it was 2 weeks ago at our last show. It was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We did chat about the AP Royal Pop. AP Swatch Royal Pop.
Yes.
They both are part of that. And it was a far bigger deal than I imagined it was going to be. I knew people wanted it. Make no mistake, I knew it was going to be popular.
Yeah.
I knew people were going to line up for it. I did not expect people to camp out for 2 or 3 days or whatever insanity they did. I did not expect people to turn into unruly mobs.
All right, so I wanted
trying to buy a plastic pocket watch.
So like I saw all of these photos that we're gonna roll right now, and like the images from that weekend of the May 16th when they officially went on sale, but like it was completely bananas what actually happened. So Swatch closed like dozens of stores on the 16th due to crowd size.
They were posting like that. In view of public safety considerations, our following stores will remain closed today. And I'm like, are you serious?
The police had to get involved in London, in New York. Police pepper sprayed the crowd at a Swatch location on Long Island because, of course, they did on Long Island. There were, people camping out. There were lines all over.
Dad, tell me about the time you got pepper sprayed. Oh. You might have thought that I was fighting for social justice or protesting or something like that. No, sir. I was clamming to the front of that line for that plastic pocket watch, baby. It was gonna be mine.
But like people lost their minds, and so like even up like now 2 weeks later, I was just traveling last week. I was in Europe, and I walked by a bunch, a Swatch location multiple times before it was open. There were still people camped out. I walked by 2 or 3 days, and there were people before they opened at 10 a.m. that were camped out waiting to get their Royal Pop. Like, it's kind of crazy. And so, I really did not expect this kind of craziness to happen. And this is what I really want to talk about. So, Chrono 24 put out a little analysis of the traffic and the volume that they saw and have seen over the past 2 weeks, or past, I guess this was from almost a week ago now, so for the first week. And this represented the biggest Swatch demand event on record as Royal Pop requests, so people searching for the Royal Pop, typing in Royal Pop in the search bar and whatever other variations of that text, was 2.9 times as high as the Moon Swatch at its peak, which is crazy. So 3 times the interest. The overwhelming majority of people, and whatever I don't know how they do it. I'm not internet savvy, Rob. But the overwhelming majority of the people that were going to Chrono 24 and searching for this were new and had never been to Chrono 24 before, which is crazy. AP Royal Oak demand up 40% on Chrono 24. 40%.
For the real Royal
For the real Royal Oak. The Moon Swatch searches were up 422%. Like, kind of like mind-boggling numbers and percentages that it's driving this level of traffic.
Wow. It's like, it really blows my mind. Maybe you guys can enlighten me in the comments, because I don't understand this. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm too old. Could be.
I mean, we are aged, Rob.
It could be. But like, it's a plastic System 51. It is a non-serviceable movement.
It's not limited.
I love the colors. I'm all about colors.
Cool.
They make a pink one, so I mean, there you go. But to riot in the streets, to fight for a place in line, to camp out outside, to get pepper sprayed, to pay, what was it, 1,000 euros, 2,000 euros?
So the average price as of 6 days ago, I guess, when Chrono 24 did this analysis, the average price was 1,440 euros.
And they're saying they've sold there. People have legitimately parted with damn near 3,000 US dollars.
No, it's like $2 grand.
Is the euro at parity?
No, but it's, dude, 1440 that would be 2x. Okay, we've already been over how mathy you are, buddy. 2,000 is like $2,500. Yeah. Still, it's for something.
You can buy a Black Bay and service it for the rest of your life and give it to your kids, versus this plastic pocket watch that's going to end up in a landfill in 4 years.
This is what's crazy. Like, I don't understand. So Vimal Nair, these are. I want to just respond to that quick comment. So these are actually. This is transaction. This is not just people listing for.
This isn't asking prices.
This is not asking prices. This is actual transaction prices, which is mind-boggling. And like Rob is saying, like with the Moon Swatch, like with the Blancpain Scuba, they're going to make a million of these. These are going to be available.
Their
like
statement said this is not a limited
this is
edition.
not a limited edition piece. So like, why? I don't understand. Like, I get maybe people have way more money.
So these asks are reasonable. Like, I mean, if you really want one and it's a couple $100 over, like,
Sure.
I get that.
Sure.
I don't know. It's like,
It's
but then
well, like there, like
$4,000.
right. It gets totally insane, and it just like, I don't understand the mentality. And obviously, you know, a big, you know, what it's not proven, but what a lot of people are speculating is that, you know, the reason why things got so out of hand was because people were speculating on these and they wanted to get them up on the web and sell them quickly. But again, like, I don't understand the mentality, because it's not like there's only 1,000 that are available, and you got to get it quick and you got to get it up there. Like, these are commonplace. It's going to be a moon swatch. Like, if you're okay waiting a couple of weeks, like, guess what? You can have one for retail. Like, it's
right.
I don't get it. You don't have to get clubbed by a police horse to get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy. I mean, that being said, like, when I was, you know, when my wife and I were traveling, we walked by and she was like, would you buy one if they had one? And I was like, yeah, I totally would, just to have. And like, for $400, like, absolutely I would have. But I'm not going to go onto Chrono24 or the forums and pay, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8x to get one. Like, it's nuts.
That's crazy. I was absolutely blown away by that. I really was. And
has anybody actually in the chat, or anybody watching, has anybody bought one? Has anybody handled one in person? Because we haven't even seen it in person. Like, I
could not believe that people called us asking if we were going to get one.
We got dozens of calls on that Friday. So the day after, so 2 weeks ago tomorrow, the day when it all came out, we got, I'm not kidding, we started counting. We had dozens, like 30, 40 calls on that day asking if we were going to get it and if they could buy it from us. So like,
it was insane.
Good on AP, good on Swatch. Like, obviously this is working. Honestly, like, the fact that there were all of these insane stories about, you know, riots and fights and pepper spray and all this stuff, like, AP loves, I mean, they'll never say it, they'll never confirm it, but like, AP's PR team and AP's marketing team is loving every second of it. Because
I read a story that said that they valued this at about like $50 million worth of publicity or something like that.
Yeah,
because it's like, and it was, you know, it was basically free.
Yeah.
Like, because if you think about how much advertising Swatch actually did for this, it wasn't much.
No. Well, the funny thing is
it wasn't much. It was not $50 million worth.
They were only supposed to, you know, drop the details or whatever on, I think, the 15th.
And then GQ got out in front
apparently
of it.
broke embargo, but it's like, I don't know, there had to have been like a wink, nod, like, go ahead, guys, drop this story and let's get it going, you know.
Let's roil the pot. So,
sorry, I'm just reading comments. Keep going.
That's okay. Why don't you read comments? Because I think we only have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
We actually, that took up more time than I thought it was going to. And I do want to talk about our last thing that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because the more I look at the current watch landscape, I see two very disparate paths forming. I see brands like Patek, who are this full-bore, like, modern bent
trying to forge this new path, kind of
calfskin straps and colors and like vintage details, but in a very modern setting.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know how to describe what they're doing right now, but it feels very different, and there's a lot of brands that are doing that.
I mean, I don't like it. I know how to describe it. It's not my favorite move, but yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, exactly. That's pornography.
And then
that's different.
There's the other path, which to me right now is the 70s. I think that all of these manufacturers are looking at the 70s, and they are coming back in many different forms. So, like, I want to start.
Well, so quickly, I just want to say that the reason I think that is happening is because the 70s, I feel, were like kind of the last era where every single brand was taking gigantic swings and doing the weirdest stuff possible. I don't know if it was the drugs. I don't know if something was in the water. I don't know if it was the lead. I don't know if it was the lead poisoning, like smog. I don't know what the hell was going on in Geneva at the time. But every single watch brand was just doing really, really weird stuff. And design obviously was very kind of exuberant and over the top to begin with.
I think culturally, we are at a very similar point as we were in the 70s.
That is a yes. I 100% agree. 100% agree.
If you and I wasn't alive.
I was going to say we're Rob and I are both 80s kids, so don't get at us.
Born in the 80s.
Yeah.
90s.
We're 90s kids, but born in the 80s. Yeah.
And I think, like, looking at what I've looked at historically versus the time we're living in now, I think the turbulence of our current situation is very similar to what a lot of people were going through in the 70s, which in some ways to me is kind of interesting and exciting, because I wonder, like, in terms of art and culture, like, what will emerge from that? Because a lot of great things came out of the 70s in that way. But then when the watch world, you have the quartz crisis.
Exactly.
And you have brands struggling to remain relevant. And it begins, or it doesn't begin, but I'm going to begin here with Rolex being like, hey, in 77 saying, okay, quartz is happening, let's do it. And they come out with the oyster quartz.
Yep.
This is probably the most 70s oyster quartz we've ever had.
This one's incredible. And this one happens to date from the early 80s, but it is pure 70s design.
Yeah, but this is disco stew all over it right here. If you get that reference, then you're also a 90s kid. This is a Burlwood dial oyster quartz date. This is so stellar.
It is.
And I think this so perfectly represents that era, because you have these hard edges. They flattened out the bracelet. Look at that. It's very thin. It's very flat. It's very chic. Obviously the wood dial, the Burlwood dial, very rich and luxurious.
Yes, yes.
But now, then Rolex brings out this.
Right.
And it's like, oh, hey, it's the 70s come modern.
Right.
And so we've gone back to the K-shape. Let me try and do this. There we go. We go back to this K-shape. We go back to the flattened out bracelet, albeit a Jubilee style on this one, obviously. But, I mean, they did the Jubilee. They did this watch, this silver dial Land Dweller, exists in oyster quartz format. And it's like, Rolex was like, okay, let's bring this back, but without the quartz. And that's exactly what they did. And I have to admit, when this first came out, I kind of was like,
you poo-pooed it. Yeah,
I did. I was like, it's cool. The name is terrible. I stand behind the fact that I think the name is terrible. But this watch
is it any better than Sky Dweller?
Is actually
or
growing
Sea
on
Dweller?
me now,
Like, come on.
and I actually kind of want one. And I think I'd wear it a lot.
Wow, you heard it here first.
I know. It's not going to happen with the 1908. So
oh Jesus,
lay off. But on this one, it kind of has.
No,
happened.
it's great.
I really like this.
So and then we'd have to talk about that ferrite dial date as well, because I think so. This
and stone dials now.
Thanks for stealing my thunder, Robert. But exactly. So stone dials were huge in the 70s. Stone and that Burlwood, different interesting materials being used for the dials was
just cracking myself up.
Oh boy, that's not great. And recently Rolex has really kind of gone hard into the stone dials again, with the Eisenkiesel, with onyx dials, with that Hawkeye, carnelian, all these interesting.
The tiger iron.
Tiger iron. I still want to see.
Those things look so sick.
And they're bringing it back.
This also has the bark.
This is killer.
What do they actually call that?
Florentine finish.
Florentine.
Yeah.
Everybody else calls it bark, and it mimics on the bezel with the diamonds at the hour mark. Like, this is a boss watch.
It is.
Oh my God, I love this thing. This is so good.
So good.
That dial is so interesting. So then.
Okay, continue.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just saying, I really like, for a brand that over the past, say, I don't know, up until a couple years ago when they came out with all those crazy colored OPs and things, very staid, very kind of. Not boring, but like they were just doing the same thing. You know what I mean? There was little creativity. I love seeing Rolex really kind of dig back into that, like over the top, crazy. Like, this isn't for everybody, but the people that it's for are going to love it.
Yeah.
I really, really love that.
And that's really, especially like if you're talking about a gold oyster quartz date, like. That, again,
ridiculous.
Like this tray over here, that is so niche.
Yes.
That is such a niche market thing, because here's a tremendously expensive watch with a quartz movement in it, albeit the best quartz movement anybody's ever made.
Yeah.
But what an interesting thing. Then, the 70s were also the era of Gerald Genta. right?
Yeah.
And his designs, including the Nautilus and the
Royal Oak.
And then the Angenour.
Oh, you didn't grab that two-tone Angenour. Dang it. That's okay.
Oh, I forgot that one. So we have an original two-tone Angenour on the website that is absolutely killer. You should go look at it and probably buy it because it's really, really good. But everybody thinks he designed the 222. He did not. He designed the Angenour. And I wanted to have a modern Angenour to show because that's an interesting case, because with the Angenour, IWC went way far afield with that watch. And it kind of got messy. They kind of screwed it up.
They lost the plot in the, so Genta designs the Angenour back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
They produce it for, it was pretty much, unchanged through the 80s. And then it started to really kind of get away from that original design, and it just kind of turned into like this uninspired, kind of generic sport watch.
Too big, weird complications. None of it made sense.
And then finally, IWC pulled the plug, and then 2 years ago, I think, they came back with the
they did a miserable thing in between where they tried to go back to the 50s Angenour.
Oh, no.
And nobody wanted that.
I don't even...
Nobody wanted it. Yeah.
I don't even recognize that happened.
I couldn't even tell you the last
terrible.
time we saw one. That tells you how many of them are floating around.
But they came back a couple years ago with the all-new Angenour that really,
the all-new
1977 Angenour. So, it's really interesting, and that brands are looking that far back to find a design that they think is distinctive enough and different enough to bring back.
I had to pull this guy as well because this, this is GP, and not counting the triaxial tourbillon we had on last time.
Yeah.
This GP is the coolest GP I have seen in recent time. And this is so 70s, it hurts. The radial brushing on the cushion case, moving out to the edges like that, it's reminiscent of Zenith from that era. Like so mmany brands.
JLC made pieces like this.
Yeah, we've got great colors. We've got big, bold hands. Compressor case, the strap feels right. This thing is awesome.
You know what?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I absolutely love this. And I think this kind of goes back to, we've definitely had discussions about heritage designs and tribute designs and whatnot, and I love that brands are doing this and they're kind of reviving or referencing these designs from a time when they felt more, I don't know,
I was gonna say these felt dated when we were living in the 90s and the early 2000s when we were when we were young. These simply felt out of date.
Yeah.
And you would look at the brown color palettes of the 70s, and you would look at these things, and you
were like,
the
gold and the stone dials.
It just feels old. It doesn't feel vintage yet. And I think we've come to an era now where all of a sudden brands want to reissue this stuff. We haven't seen 70s reissues till now.
My bigger point here, though, is that I love that brands they do feel that the market is ready for these designs to be reissued. But to kind of go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, where the 70s, the wider macro kind of scenario, or the world, the way the world was at the time, does closely mirror what we're dealing with right now. But I really hope that these brands don't just use this period as a way to reissue their old designs. I hope that they
funny you should say that.
You just don't want to let me talk today. Damn it.
You hope.
No, I hope that they come up with real, unique, new designs inspired by the same energy as opposed to just reissuing things.
Thank you for making my point. This is exactly it. Because this is a Gerald Genta design.
It is.
This feels very 70s, but this is not one where you can look at it and say, oh yeah, this is the Gerald Genta whatever from the 70s.
One thing I do want to say quickly, and then I'll let you blather on about this. I don't want designs that feel like 70s designs. I want designs that feel like 2026 designs.
Right. You like this watch.
It's fine.
You like this watch.
It's fine.
Stop hedging your bets.
I'm not hedging my bets. It's fine.
This is the new Omega Planet Ocean.
Yes, it is.
You scoffed at me.
I did.
When I said this is going to be on our 70s segment, and you said why?
I did.
Because it's a watch from the early 2000s. This was like what, 07, 08?
No, earlier than that, wasn't it? The orange bezel?
No, it was like 07, 08.
I thought it was like 04, but okay. Continue.
No, it wasn't that early.
Whatever.
Maybe I will. If I am, tell me in the comments. I trust you guys. I know you will. This watch, they took the planet Ocean and they eschewed all of that early 2000s styling, and they basically made this a 70s watch. Look at this clasp.
I see where you're...
Look at the bevels and the angles on the clasp. Look at the flat, thin bracelet.
Thin for Omega.
Look at... No, it's very thin. Look at the case, which is like somewhere in between a cushion-shaped case and a like regular diver case, and the angles.
Yeah, this definitely reads far more 70s. Yeah.
This is a 70s diver in 2026.
Okay.
I'm almost talking myself into this watch, but out of spite for you, I shall refrain.
Rob, nothing makes me happier than you talking yourself into a watch that, like, a month ago you were like, I'll never like this watch.
No, but I'm just saying, you can see the 70s design influence on a watch that feels brand new for 2026.
You're right.
I think I love that. I like that there's a story and a through line, and I like that, like you said, brands are taking swings again. Yeah. I think we see some brands taking swings. I think some of those swings are the Patek direction, where they're like,
which we're not fans of.
Here is a really crazy, not at all what you expected from a Celestial on a rubber strap, fake Rubel 4Z solid case back, whatever the hell that thing is.
Honestly, if that turns out to be the 2026 design, what in 30 years or 50 years we're looking back on, like, oh yeah, that was what was happening in 2026. Like, God help us.
It won't be.
I hope not. But no, I agree, Rob. I do love that brands are taking swings, that they're doing things that might not be for everybody, but again, the people that like it love it, and that it's just having fun. It's more interesting. It's more distinctive.
If you make something for everybody,
it's for no one.
If everything is special, then nothing is special.
Right, exactly.
Right? If you make something for everybody, you're going to make so many compromises that what you're going to end up with is watch. You're going to end up with, this is a watch. I might as well go get my pink Swatch that you made me, which I wore last night to a concert, and I loved it. But it's a watch, right?
Yeah, that's great.
It's a basic watch. There's no exceptional functionality. There's no incredible design other than the patterns and stuff like that. It's not like there's a cool shape to it. It's not like there's
no exceptional design.
It's not remarkable past.
I take umbrage.
It's beauty to me. And it's very unique to me, right? Anybody else is going to look at it and be like, what is wrong with you?
Correct.
That's
the point.
But anyway, it's cool to see brands doing stuff that pushes that envelope. This orange GP craziness is not for everybody, right? The Octo Finissimo is not for everybody. This is not for me. So there you go. That's it.
Full circle. Full circle.
Let's go home.
I'm like, it got hot in here, man. I am spitzing over here. I think you just, got too animated. Yeah. Your white hot energy over there. I don't know what the hell just happened. That was a great hour and 3 minutes, but thank you guys as always for joining us. This is a blast. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll have more incredible new arrivals. Again, make sure you go to our website, check out the new stuff that we're putting on there all the time. These pieces, the ones that aren't available yet, are coming very soon. So if you're interested, shoot us a message. I don't know.
Leave us comments. Yes. Like, subscribe. We love you all. Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
See you guys.